Imagine this. You step into a dealership and spot an electric car, sleek, futuristic, and nearly silent, priced at almost half what it cost just a few years ago. The temptation is real. It feels like you've stumbled upon a once-in-a-lifetime bargain. But as you stand there, a question hangs in the air. Is this the moment you finally go electric, joining the green revolution at a steal? Or is this dramatic price drop a warning sign that something is off in the world of electric vehicles? Welcome to the roller coaster that is today's used electric vehicle market. A place where fortunes are made and lost, innovation moves at lightning speed, and uncertainty is the only constant. It is a saga that reaches far beyond car buyers and sellers, shaking up global supply chains, corporate strategies, and even government climate pledges. Let's wind the clock back to the early 2010s. Back then, electric vehicles were the stuff of science fiction. A bold vision of a world running not on oil, but on possibility and clean energy. Early adopters, driven by a blend of environmental conviction and tech enthusiasm, gladly paid premium prices to own the first all-electric models. Names like the Nissan Leaf, Chevrolet Volt, and Tesla Model S became emblems of progress. If you drove one, you were signaling that you were part of something larger, a movement for a cleaner, smarter future. But fast forward to today, and the landscape has undergone a seismic shift. The used electric vehicle market is experiencing dramatic turbulence. Between the years 2021 and 2024, average used electric car prices have plummeted by nearly one-half. To put this in perspective, traditional gasoline-powered vehicles, often called internal combustion engine or ICE cars, saw their used prices fall by less than one-fifth in the same period. This is not a minor market wobble. It is a shockwave, and its effects ripple through family budgets, business ledgers, and even national policy debates. Consider the sheer scale of the used car market. In the United Kingdom, for example, the used car market is nearly 4 times larger than the new car market. That translates to millions upon millions of vehicles changing hands each year. Multiply that across Europe, Asia, the Americas, and beyond, and you have a marketplace worth hundreds of billions of dollars, euros, and pounds. Every fluctuation in used vehicle values can send shockwaves through households, commercial fleets, and entire industries. Toby Poston, the chief executive of the British Vehicle Rental and Leasing Association, summed it up bluntly. Maintaining healthy demand and values for second-hand electric vehicles is essential if we want to deliver a sustained transition. The message is clear. If the used market falters, the entire electric vehicle revolution could lose momentum. So what is fueling this wild ride in used electric vehicle prices? The answer is a tangle of technology, economics, consumer psychology, and government policy, all tugging at the market in different directions. First, let's talk about technology. Over the past 5 years, battery innovation has accelerated at a breathtaking pace. Early electric vehicles often struggled to deliver even 100 miles on a single charge and required hours to recharge. Today, new models flaunt driving ranges of 300 miles or more, recharge in under an hour, and promise battery lifespans exceeding a decade. Automakers like Tesla, Hyundai, BYD, Volkswagen, and a growing list of new entrants are engaged in a technological arms race, each striving to outdo the others with longer range, faster charging, enhanced safety, and ever lower costs. Solid-state batteries, once a distant dream, are now on the horizon, threatening to upend the entire game yet again. But there's a catch. With every leap forward, yesterday's electric vehicles look increasingly outdated. This is the classic tale of technological obsolescence, and it is hitting the used electric vehicle market especially hard. Picture yourself buying an EV in 2021, only to see a flood of newer, better, and more affordable models arrive by 2024. Suddenly, your car's value nosedives, and your confidence as an owner takes a hit. This rapid pace of innovation is not unique to electric vehicles. It mirrors the early days of smartphones and personal computers. Anyone who bought a flagship phone or laptop, only to find it eclipsed within a year by a sleeker model with better specs, knows the feeling. In the car market, however, the stakes and the price tags are much higher. Second, let's examine supply and demand, The surge in new electric vehicle sales over recent years has been nothing short of explosive. According to the International Energy Agency, global electric vehicle sales soared to 4 million in the first quarter of 2025 alone, a leap of more than one-third compared to the previous year. This wave has now reached the used market. As leases end and early owners upgrade, an estimated 650,000 used electric vehicles will hit the market in the United States alone by the year 2027. The laws of economics are clear. When supply rises faster than demand, prices must fall. Yet demand is not keeping pace. Some buyers remain hesitant, worried about battery life, the adequacy of charging infrastructure, or simply overwhelmed by the dizzying array of new models. Others are waiting to see if even better technology or deeper discounts are just around the corner. Government policy is a third powerful force. Around the globe, policymakers are setting ambitious targets for phasing out gasoline and diesel cars. In the United Kingdom, nearly one-third of new cars sold in 2025 must be electric, thanks to the Vehicle Emissions Trading Scheme. In California, regulators have decreed that by the year 2035, every new passenger vehicle sold must be zero-emission. These policies are designed to speed the shift to electric, but they also create uncertainty for buyers and sellers who must guess at future values, incentives, and regulations. Incentives and subsidies add another layer of complexity. In the United States, the Inflation Reduction Act offers up to $4,000 in tax credits for eligible used electric vehicles. In the United Kingdom, more than £1 billion has been pledged to support the electric transition, including targeted grants for buyers and new investments in charging networks. Yet, according to the International Energy Agency, government spending accounted for less than one-tenth of total global expenditure on electric cars in 2024. The true engine of change is innovation, competition, and consumer trust, not just public funds. Still, incentives can make a meaningful difference for individual buyers. Gary Pretzfeld of Auto Trust USA captures the frustration. Non-qualifying customers get frustrated when a $20,000 Tesla costs someone else only $16,000 due to rebates. Let's not overlook consumer psychology. For many would-be buyers, the idea of owning a used electric vehicle is shadowed by anxiety, especially about battery health and longevity. Unlike traditional engines, electric vehicle batteries are unfamiliar territory for most drivers. People worry about how much battery capacity remains after years of use, the cost of replacement, and whether a used EV will have enough range for daily needs. Parul Shahabra of the Nickel Institute puts it plainly: consumer confidence needs to be built, particularly about the battery state of health. The market still lacks universal standards for gauging battery health. While some manufacturers and dealers have started offering transparent battery reports and extended warranties, many buyers remain wary. According to CarMax, the average electric vehicle battery loses less than 2% of its capacity per year. A reassuring number, but often not clearly communicated to shoppers. Extended warranties that promise coverage for at least 8 years or 100,000 miles are becoming more common, but awareness remains patchy. This lack of transparency hinders trust. Buyers want to know that the car they are purchasing will still deliver reliable range several years down the road. Without clear, standardized battery health assessments, the market for used electric vehicles can feel like a leap of faith. Industry insiders like Alex Lawrence, founder of a leading used EV dealership, warn that without incentives or clear information, the so-called death zone for used electric vehicles sits at around $24,000. For buyers who do not qualify for rebates or tax credits, this can mean the difference between a wise investment and a costly mistake. The stakes could not be higher. If the used electric vehicle market continues to weaken, it threatens the entire electrification ecosystem. When residual values fall, leasing and financing new electric vehicles becomes riskier and more expensive. Monthly payments rise, and both individuals and businesses may hesitate to make the switch from fossil fuels. The British Vehicle Rental and Leasing Association estimates that falling used values have already cost the fleet and leasing sector hundreds of millions of pounds in the United Kingdom alone. So what is at risk if these trends persist? Could plummeting used electric vehicle prices derail the global push for cleaner transportation? Or is there a silver lining hidden in all this volatility? Let's play out a few scenarios for the future. One possibility is a breakthrough in battery technology. Imagine solid-state batteries becoming mainstream, offering dramatically faster charging and lifespans that stretch far beyond today's lithium-ion packs. Such a leap could make new electric vehicles irresistible, but it might also cause older models with less advanced batteries to lose value even more quickly. On the flip side, if these advances bring down costs across the board, they could boost confidence in both new and used EVs, making the market more robust. Infrastructure is another crucial piece of the puzzle. Right now, range anxiety, the fear of running out of charge before reaching your destination, is still a top concern for many. But this is changing fast. Across Europe, the number of high-speed charging stations has doubled in just 3 years. In China, ultra-fast chargers are now as common in big cities as coffee shops. The United States is catching up, with new federal and state investments pouring into charging networks coast to coast. As these networks expand, owning a used electric vehicle becomes a more practical option for more people, whether they live in bustling cities or remote rural areas. Government action can also shift the landscape. Recently, a coalition of more than 30 companies spanning vehicle demand, maintenance, charging, and insurance wrote an open letter to the British government, urging urgent action to support the used electric vehicle market. Their proposals include targeted grants, standardized battery health assessments, training programs for mechanics, and comprehensive information campaigns. Their message? By supporting the used market, governments can help ensure that the benefits of electrification are accessible to more households and small businesses, not just early adopters and large corporations. But this is not just a British issue. In Germany, France, China, and the United States, policymakers are grappling with similar questions. How can they accelerate the transition to electric vehicles while ensuring the used market remains healthy, affordable, and trusted? The answers may shape not only national economies, but the future of global mobility itself. Meanwhile, exciting new trends are emerging. Lithium iron phosphate, or LFP, batteries now make up nearly 1/2 of the global electric vehicle battery market. These batteries are cheaper, more durable, and less prone to overheating than older chemistries. According to Goldman Sachs, the price of lithium is projected to fall to $80 per kilowatt-hour by 2026, a milestone that could make electric vehicles as cheap to produce as their gasoline rivals. As battery costs fall, automakers can pass these savings on to consumers, further boosting both new and used EV sales. For consumers, this tumultuous moment is both a challenge and an opportunity. If you are considering a used electric vehicle, here are some concrete steps to take before making your decision. First, do not just look at the sticker price. Always request a detailed battery health report. Seek out third-party certifications or manufacturer warranties that cover battery performance for at least 8 years or 100,000 miles, whichever comes first. Remember, while the average battery loses less than 2% of its capacity per year, actual results can vary by model and driving habits. Second, research all available incentives and tax credits in your area. In the United States, eligible buyers can claim up to $4,000 in federal tax credits for used electric vehicles, and sometimes more when state and local incentives are included. In Germany and France, generous subsidies can bring the cost of a used EV within reach for many more families. These financial incentives can make the difference between a good deal and a truly great one. Third, factor in the total cost of ownership. Electric vehicles are usually cheaper to power and maintain than gasoline cars, thanks to fewer moving parts and lower energy costs. However, do not forget about insurance, the availability of charging infrastructure in your area, and the potential cost of battery replacement down the line. Many automakers now offer certified pre-owned programs with extended warranties and roadside assistance, providing extra peace of mind. Fourth, keep an eye on resale value. As the market evolves, models with longer ranges, the latest safety features, and compatibility with fast charging networks are likely to hold their value better than older or less capable vehicles. Stay informed about industry trends and new developments to make a smarter investment. For businesses, especially delivery services, ride shares, and taxi fleets, the growing affordability of used electric vehicles is a game changer. In cities like London, Paris, and Los Angeles, electric taxis are now a familiar sight. Commercial buyers are seizing the chance to cut fuel costs and meet new sustainability targets, aided by government programs and corporate partnerships. Some companies are even experimenting with battery leasing and swapping, further lowering barriers to entry. Yet, the transition is not without its hurdles. Skills gaps in electric vehicle maintenance, uneven charging infrastructure in rural and suburban areas, and lingering consumer skepticism remain obstacles. Industry groups are calling for more investment in technician training, better consumer education, and close cooperation between automakers, governments, and tech firms. Looking even further ahead, The rise of electric vehicles is set to revolutionize the entire automotive supply chain, from mining companies extracting lithium, cobalt, and nickel, to battery makers and charging network operators. Entirely new industries are taking shape. Traditional auto parts suppliers, gas stations, and even real estate developers must adapt or risk being left behind. The ripple effects extend to local governments, energy utilities, and the real estate sector, all of whom must rethink infrastructure, zoning, and power grids to accommodate a world where the majority of vehicles plug in rather than fill up. It is worth remembering that government spending accounted for less than 7% of total global investment in electric cars in 2024. The real drivers of change are technological breakthroughs, bold moves by automakers, and the willingness of millions of consumers to embrace a cleaner, smarter way to drive. We are witnessing a pivotal moment. The next few years will determine whether the used electric vehicle market becomes a vibrant engine of affordable, green mobility or hits a roadblock of confusion and mistrust. Will falling prices unlock a new era of accessible electric transportation for all? Or will uncertainty stall our progress toward cleaner roads and healthier cities? The answer is still being written, and